Testing 1, 2. Hello and testing 1, 2. Can you hear me? Coming through okay? 1, 2, 3. Wonderful. Lighting a little bit of Palo Santo this time. Feels like good energy to start with. My sinuses are, they're on their way up. Still running a bit. Oh, hi. Welcome to all of you witches and wizards, sorcerers of different colors. Thank you. As we're getting rolling here, this is something I do every Monday. This is a little, gathering to read a few things, hang out, answer big questions, ask big questions. I don't know. Just hang out on a nice summer Monday. So if you're curious, or if you have questions you want to ask, or if you have requests for readings, please put them in the chat. If I see them, I will try to get to them. I also have some Patreon requests from people who have made requests through the post in anticipation of today's live. Summer has been wonderful. I love summer. It's one of my favorite seasons, of course. Yeah, I don't know. What can I say about it? I am learning how to increase my capacity, learning how to expand into all the areas that I'm holding. The heat wave has passed, thankfully. It's a little cooler today, although still sunny. My favorite ice cream flavor? Ooh, probably mint chocolate chip. Although there are a few more esoteric ones. There's a vegan ice cream place in the Pacific Northwest called Frankie and Joe's that they've figured out how to do a golden milk ice cream that's amazing. If you know what golden milk is, it's like coconut milk with turmeric and a bunch of spices. Mwah. And when it's made into ice cream, it's even better. I have had Frankie and Joe's recently. Yes, thank you. I mean, no hate to dairy products, but I am starting to really love non-dairy ice cream. It's there's some really amazing ones out there. My pleasure, SR Hazard. So if you're new to Alive with Me, we kind of jump between a little bit of flirtiness, and a little bit of profound, and a little bit of I don't know, just comfort. We kind of bounce between those three things. Oh yeah, and a few dad jokes. I heard a joke just recently that I'll share. uh, all right, I'll just tell it. Let's see if I can get this. So 3 men are walking down a road, and they pass by this tree, and this tree starts talking to them and says, "Hey, you need to know, up ahead is a bridge, and if you want to cross the bridge, you're going to have to be nice to the troll and make sure that you don't point out his stutter." And then the men, they look at the tree and they go, "Whoa, that's a problem because we all have stutters too." So the tree says, "Well, there are 3 ways that you can bypass that. One, you can sing a song. 2, you can speak in an accent, or 3, you can have an O, have a release." Oh, I'm totally butchering this joke. Important detail. The troll has the tree says, the troll has a stutter as well, and you don't want to make fun of that, or else he won't let you pass. So the 3 men get to the bridge, and they decide to go across one at a time. First man goes up to the troll, and he says, "I would like to pass, please let me." And the troll lets him through. Second guy goes and says, "Hey there, I'd like to cross this bridge. Would you let me?" And the bridge troll says, "But please, pass." Third guy gets all the way through, And the two guys are just waiting. Two other guys are just waiting for him. And the guy walks up to them and he says, "Well, I didn't know how to sing. I don't know how to do accents." And the other guys look at him and go, "Well, how did you do? How'd you pass?" And the bridge troll calls down to them, "Thanks, guys. Really enjoyed it. Have fun." I don't know. It's a stupid joke. Well, see, for me, I always feel like I'm better at short form jokes than the story based jokes. It's an odd little quirk of mine. My dad used to tell these long form story jokes, and he would get people just enraptured into them. And for me, I keep forgetting important details. And, maybe I just need to practice more. Okay, the first request from the Patreon request feed is it's a quote. Let's see. It's a quote, and they're requesting that I read this in a Southern accent. Well, let's see. How do I get into my Southern accent? How do I get into my Southern accent? I don't know if I can do that. Face me to the west so I can see the setting sun and remember all the good times we had. Does anybody know what dialect of Southern accent this is? Is this like a particular region? It's kind of more deep south, I feel like. Right? Okay, yeah. I did way back, I don't know, years and years ago, I did an audio drama where I played this old, rich Southern gentleman by the name of, what was his name? Vernon Montgomery. And so that's the accent that I keep defaulting to whenever I'm doing Southern. Here's a request. Try to Praise the Mutilated World by Adam Zagajewski. Zagajewski? No, that's a name. And it goes like this. Try to praise the mutilated world. Remember June's long days and wild strawberries, drops of rosé wine. The nettles that methodically overgrow the abandoned homesteads of exiles. You must praise the mutilated world. You watched the stylish yachts and ships. One of them had a long trip ahead of it, while salty oblivion awaited others. You've seen the refugees going nowhere. You've heard the executioners sing joyfully. You should praise the mutilated world. Remember the moments when we were together in a white room and the curtain fluttered. Return in thought to the concert where music flared. You gathered acorns in the park in autumn, and leaves eddied over the earth's scars. Praise the mutilated world and the gray feather a thrush lost, and the gentle light that strays and vanishes and returns. Yeah, see, I knew that I can't get away with just any old accent with this crowd. It's kind of the same way, whenever I do my English accent, it's like I have a specific way of talking. It's more like this low growly voice. I don't even know. It's really terrible right now. I did a book. I did an audiobook where I had to do a bunch of different accents. Where I do a Southern and a Brit, and they're talking to each other, so I'm switching back and forth, and yeah, it was yeah, it was Reed. I don't remember it was a book that was part of a series. Yeah, my way of learning accents is imitating actors and voices that I've heard. Jason Statham, or like the voice of Captain Price from Modern Warfare, if any of you have ever played that. Australian is that's a little bit more challenging for me. It's like I switch between Australian and British, unfortunately, involuntarily. Let's see. Glad you liked the post. Here's a poem that I saw requested called Comes the Dawn by Veronica Schofstall. After a while, you learn the difference, subtle difference, between holding a hand and chaining a soul. You learn that love doesn't mean leaning and company doesn't mean security. You begin to learn that kisses aren't contracts and presents aren't promises. You begin to accept your defeats with your head up and your eyes open, with the grace of an adult, not the grief of a child. You learn to build all your roads on today because tomorrow's ground is too uncertain for plans. After a while, you learn that even sunshine burns if you get too much. So you plant your own garden and decorate your own soul instead of waiting for someone to bring you flowers. You learn that you really can endure, that you really are strong, that you really do have worth. Okay, this is just quieting the mind for a minute. It's not stifling expression, it's just focusing. Clearing the space so that presence and groundedness can take place. Growling helps me focus too sometimes. It's kind of involuntary other times. Now a request from The Comfort Book by Matt Haig. And it goes like this. It's called More. In troublesome moments, the beauty of life can come into sharper focus, and the things we learn in the bad days serve us in the good days. Just as the promise of good times helps us through the bad, everything connects. All life is with us. All life is within us. Fear to calm, hope to hopelessness, despair to comfort. A grain of sand can tell us about a universe, and a single moment can teach us about every other moment. We are never only one thing. Just as our ancestors saw the world as a composite of earth, fire, and water, and air, so we can see in any moment, in any individual, a connection to all the other elements of that existence. We always have the possibility to be more, to be bigger than any current crisis or worry, to discover something new about the landscape of our mind, not by adding it, but by realizing it was there all along. The way a page in a book is there even if we haven't read it yet. We always have more inside us than we realize, more strength, more warmth, more compassion, more resilience. The world can surprise us, sure, but we can surprise ourselves too. Yeah, still a little stuffy, unfortunately. Should clear up by next week. It's my plan. I feel fine. Yeah, no, it's just an overactive, overactive schnoz. I don't typically get allergies, honestly. But who knows? Maybe some of it is. The next request is song lyrics called Where I Go by Natalie Merchant. Climbing under a barbed wire fence by the railroad ties. Climbing over an old stone wall, I am bound for the riverside. Well, I go to the river to soothe my mind, ponder over the crazy days of my life, just sit and watch the river flow. Find a place on the riverbank where the green rushes grow, see the wind in the willow tree branches hanging low. Well, I go to the river to soothe my mind, to ponder over the crazy days in my life. Watch the river flow, ease my mind and soul, where I go. Well, I go to the river from time to time, wander over these crazy days in my mind, watch the river flow where the willow branches grow by the cool, rolling waters, moving gracefully and slow. Child, it's lovely. Let the river take it all away, the mad pace, the hurry, the troubles, the worries. Just let the river take them all away. That was Where I Go by Natalie Merchant. Hello, welcome to the story time of the week. This is sort of this is a nice little anchor point for me over the week. Kind of gets the week rolling. I think since I was a kid, I've always wanted to just read stories, and ideally it would be by a nice roaring fire, and the smell of cedar and fun things, and I don't know, maybe it's twilight, but we kind of work with what we have. I don't mind all honorifics, honestly. I think for many, honorifics are a matter of consent, and I generally agree with that in person, but here on the live, I know I sort of occupy a space of, you can call me whatever you wish to call me, whatever feels right for you. I am on Spotify. Well, no, none of my work is on Spotify. I have a profile there, and I create playlists from time to time. Look, if I had a portable electric fireplace, I have no idea where I would put it that would fit inside this frame. Just set it in my lap. Hi, everybody. I feel resistant to putting my work on Spotify. I might put a few things, but the bar of entry to getting stuff on Spotify feels high, and also Spotify doesn't treat its artists super well, honestly. I mean, I know that it's important for publicity, but I don't know. I don't see my work as being something for everybody. It's sort of, my work is great for certain people going through certain things, and those are the people that I want to find. Do I look like Eric Bana, or does Eric Bana look like me? He and I go way back as twins, for sure. I have been called Eric Bana for at various places for, I don't know, the better part of 15 years. I honestly don't know if I would say that TikTok is the best platform for artists either. They seem to be focusing a lot more on searchable terms, and that's what they promote, and maybe just a few like diamonds in the rough manage to break free and have their own brand, and TikTok promotes them just fine, but I'm not one of them, unfortunately. I think I've been stuck at the same amount of followers for like 2 years now. But that's okay. I think a large part of that is probably my own fault for not posting as often as I used to. The next request is Solitude by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Laugh, and the world laughs with you. Weep, and you weep alone. For the sad old earth must borrow its mirth, but has trouble enough of its own. Sing, and the hills will answer. Sigh, it is lost on the air. The echoes bound to a joyful sound, but shrink from voicing care. Rejoice, and men will seek you. Grieve, and they turn and go. They want full measure of all your pleasure, but they do not need your woe. Be glad, and your friends are many. Be sad, and you lose them all. There are none to decline your nectared wine, but alone you must drink life's gall. Feast, and your halls are crowded. Fast, and the world goes by. Succeed and give, and it helps you live, but no man can help you die. There's room in the halls of pleasure for a large and lordly train, but one by one we must all file on through the narrow aisles of pain. Good night. Good night to those of you who are entering your evening hours. Some good requests today. Let's see. Yeah, this whole idea of it's an interesting juxtaposition of holding pain and sadness if we are going through that, and recognizing that it shrinks our world when we're in that space, and finding joy and happiness and aliveness and how that expands our world. You know, finding ways to embody, care for the parts of us that need help, and embodying expansiveness at the same time. It's a practice. Request Dover Beach. Oh, let's see. What does one pull from to get there? Oh, I don't know what the previous reading on self-worth was. Oh, it might be the Matt Haig one. I just recently had a teacher of mine remind me that that spirit, that, you know, spirit is inside of inside of our lives, not external to it. So for me, it's been a reminder that what I'm doing in my life is of the path, not blocking me from the path. That's been sobering. I think I'm going to make that a TikTok. This reading is Dover Beach by Matthew Arnold, and it goes like this. The sea is calm tonight. The tide is full, and the moon lies fair upon the straits. On the French coast the light gleams and is gone. The cliffs of England stand, glimmering and vast, out in the tranquil bay. Come to the window, sweet is the night air. Only from the long line of spray where the sea meets the moon-blanched land, listen. You hear the grating roar of pebbles which the waves draw back and fling at their return upon the high strand. Begin and cease, and then begin again, with tremulous cadence slow, and bring the eternal note of sadness in. Sophocles long ago heard it on the Aegean, and it brought into his mind the turbid ebb and flow of human misery. We find also in the sound of a thought, hearing it by this distant northern sea. The sea of faith was once too at the full, and round earth's shore lay like the folds of a bright girdle furled. But now I only hear its melancholy, long withdrawing roar, retreating to the breath of the night wind, down the vast edges drear and naked shingles of the world. Love, let us be true to one another. For the world, which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, hath really neither joy, nor love, nor light, nor certitude, nor peace, nor help for pain. And we are here as on a darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight, where ignorant armies clash by night. Dover Beach by Matthew Arnold. I'm drinking some tea, turmeric and ginger. It's good for my throat. After a long time of experimenting with different teas, this is the one that seemed to work well. The healing energy. So somebody asked me if I could do a video on heartbreak, and obviously this needs more attention to it, but really the greatest balm that I've found for heartbreak is gratitude. Because things happen. People come and go, and loves come and go, and feeling the gratitude that we have for what that brought into our lives, and the gratitude for, the moments shared. That's all we can do, and allow ourselves to feel it. I did get a haircut a while back. I was growing it out, and then I decided it was getting a little too unwieldy for me. I don't know. I think for me, when I feel called to change something, I do. But I'm pretty happy with where things are right now. I don't know if I would make a good president, honestly. I feel like I would do best as president if I could, if I could only work like a few hours a day, and then, well, I don't know. Have you seen how much those guys age in 4 years? It's kind of ridiculous. I feel like if I was president, I would probably do fireside meditations for everybody. Just live meditations. Everybody just tune in. Let's just start breathing. Whole world is going crazy, so, just drop in. Just feel yourselves. No, I wouldn't say I'm grieving something right now. I'm just responding to some comments. Honestly, I don't even know if I could be president. At this point, if I tried to run, ooh, he makes erotic audios for a living. That would really go over well with the masses, I feel like. But what skills does he have? I feel like I just have to learn how to come up with some really good speeches. I would need to come up with a team of writers. I once worked with a guy who was a speechwriter for Obama for a little while. He was an interesting character. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like really the only job that a president, the most important job a president has, is to be able to make a case for like basically bring people together and make a case for what they want. My problem is that uh, I feel like I would start having to develop a lot of stances that I feel might be a little bit more nuanced than the public debate on them is. And um so there's a question about the Patreon. Will it be only Q&A or reading requests with once a month upload of content that was created by myself, or do we get new audios coming soon? So with the Patreon, you have access to the entire library of the work that I've done. And you also have any future work that I do. That's always what it's been about. And there are times when I'm more prolific and times when I'm less. And unfortunately, right now, I'm a little bit less prolific than I'd like to be. And I acknowledge that. And I'm sorry about that. But the only reason that I become less prolific is when there are too many transitions happening in my regular life that make it difficult. And right now I'm dealing with a lot of family stuff that requires some deep attention, unfortunately. I do plan on releasing more content before the end of the month, and so you can reliably expect at least a couple of things from me each month. I think I probably have over 100 audios on Patreon at this point. And now a request called I No Longer Pray by Shalane Harkin. I no longer pray. Now I drink dark chocolate and let the moon sing to me. I no longer pray. I let my ancestors dance through my hips at the slightest provocation. I no longer pray. I go to the river and howl my ancient pain into the current. I no longer pray. I ache. I desire. I say yes to my longing. I no longer pray as I was taught, but as the stars crawl and onto my lap like soft animals at night time. And God tucks my hair behind my ears with the gentle fingers of her wind, and a new intimacy is uncovered in everything. Perhaps it's that I'm finally learning to pray. That was I No Longer Pray by Shalane Harkin. And I love that. I think the audios that I create are, in a way, a prayer. It's one of my own little prayers to freedom. So if you are listening to an audio of mine, it's a prayer of freedom, of release. I feel like most of my target audience, most of my audience are people who are, caught in a life that is difficult to navigate and just need some holding that may not be as available in real life. And yeah, I'm only too happy to provide that. Let's quiet. Let's have some freedom for a minute. Let's just breathe. Because if you let yourself breathe, then it opens up your mind a bit to let other ways of telling the story start to form. Other ways of telling the story of what's happening and why and where you are. And if you let yourself drop even further, you can start to visualize and give yourself spaciousness. And it might be that if you relax enough, you begin to feel the arms of someone that you love very much holding you. Someone that perhaps you haven't seen or felt for a while. And it can be a version of yourself, or perhaps it could be another person. But all you have to do is just close your eyes and just feel it. That within the safety of that embrace is the freedom to be entirely yourself. The freedom to allow all of it to come forward. Because when you stop holding it, then that is true freedom. And you can let the earth, the elements of the earth, begin to hold you too. You can hear the rain. You can hear the wind. You can hear the nourishment of all around you, holding you, supporting you, bringing you what you need. And remember that it's all here for you. It's all here for you. If it's my pleasure. Honestly, Forgotten Realms probably got the name from the same place I did, which is really just the Roman name for the god of the underworld. You know, there were multiple Roman names for the god of the underworld. Pluto was one of them. Orcus is a less known one. Here is a monologue from Shakespeare, Puck, from A Midsummer Night's Dream. My mistress with a monster is in love. Near to her close and consecrated bower, while she was in her dull and sleeping hour, a crew of patches, rude mechanicals, that work for bread upon Athenian stalls, were met together to rehearse a play intended for great Theseus's nuptial day. The shallowest thick skin of that barren sort, who Pyramus presented in their sport, forsook his scene and entered in a break, when I did him at this advantage take, an ass's knoll I fixed on his head. Anon his this be must be answered, and forth my mimic comes. When they him spy, as wild geese that the creeping fowler eye, or russet-pated chows, and many in sort, rising and cawing at the gun's report, sever themselves and madly sweep the sky, so at his sight away his fellows fly. And at our stamp here o'er and o'er one falls. He murder cries, and help from Athens calls. Their sense thus weak, lost with their fears thus strong. Made senseless things begin to do them wrong, for briars and thorns at their apparel snatch, some sleeves, some hats, some yielders, all things catch. I led them on in this distracted fear, and left sweet Pyramus translated there. When in that moment, so it came to pass, Titania waked, and straightway loved an ass. I wouldn't say that I have respiratory issues. It's just snot. Now witness him try to make snot sexy. Oh, it's so snotty. Oh, man. Well, hello. Welcome. Welcome to Live. This request is called An Ode to Fearless Women by Nikita Gill. It's one, Nikita Gill it's one of our favorites. An Ode to Fearless Women. I think your bones were made in an elsewhere place. How else does one explain this inconceivable strength that makes you? The way you look into danger's mouth and see no cemetery or death. Instead, carve your name into its teeth with a switchblade. Defeat it so effortlessly and throw your head back and laugh. Paradox girl, mighty woman, you are the thing that terrifies them. Both monster and maiden, both cure and poison, of all these things and at the same time, human. Defined by no man, you are your own story, blazing through the world, turning history into her story. And when you dare to tell about all the things you cannot be, when they dare to tell you about all the things you cannot be, you smile and tell them, I am both war and woman, and you cannot stop me. Here's a poem request, Mystery by D.H. Lawrence. Now I'm all one bowl of kisses, such as the tall, slim votaresses of Egypt filled for a god's excesses. I lift to you my bowl of kisses, and through the temple's blue recesses cry out to you in wild caresses. And to my lips' bright crimson rim the passion slips, and down my slim white body drips the shining hymn. And still before the altar I exalt the bowl brimful, and cry to you to stoop and drink, Most High. Oh, drink me up, that I may be within your cup like a mystery, like wine that is still in ecstasy, glimmering still in ecstasy, commingled wines of you and me, in one fulfill the mystery. Mystery by D.H. Lawrence. What's my favorite summer recipe? You know, I don't know. I just love making a good, summer recipe. Man, seasonal recipes kind of escape me. Um, hmm. Well, I just had a really amazing lasagna recently. I mean, I feel like lasagna is good for any season, but having lasagna that is non-dairy for a dairy intolerant person is lovely. And it is possible, and it's quite good. Tigress Katie requests a forest story by Nikita Gill. There's an entire forest full of the most incredible flowers, plants, and trees inside you. And you. Let's see. This is an interesting phrase. I don't know if this is meant to be this way. I'll just roll with it. And you planted in sill four at us and at and us. And you planted in sill four at and a single tree. The people who left you this way don't deserve to become your favorite stories to tell. You are a massive forest full of beautiful and vibrant stories, and every single one of them deserves you more than those who abandoned you to hell. Somebody's requesting A Tale of Two Wolves, the legend of it. One evening, an old Cherokee told his grandson about a battle that goes on inside people. He said, "My son, the battle is between two wolves inside us all. One is evil. It is anger, envy, jealousy, doubt, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other is good. It is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, forgiveness, truth, compassion, and faith." The grandson thought about it for a minute and then asked his grandfather, "Which wolf wins?" The old Cherokee simply replied, "The one you feed." I would love to do bedtime stories, and I have a few. I have a couple of spicy ones on my Patreon and a couple of non-spicy ones floating around. The only problem is that I have to kind of do them asynchronously because, technically right now is somebody's bedtime. If I did them at my bedtime, I feel like I would not have, I don't know how many people are in my time zone. Lenore requests a poem by Karen Starr. The feminine cannot, will not surrender to the wounded masculine. A man who criticizes her, belittles, dishonors, controls, manipulates, abuses, or attacks her. Her own inner masculine will not allow it. He will rise fiercely to the forefront to stand guard and do the job himself. The feminine can and will only surrender to the divine masculine. A man who is devoted to her, elevates, honors, cherishes, supports, and protects her. A man with boundaries, presence, direction, integrity, accountability, and humility. In this space, she wills him. She will him penetrating her very essence, her body, her mind, her heart, her soul, and she will feel safe, safe enough to surrender. This is the natural law. This is the dance of healed polarities. This is surrender to love. That was by Karen Starr. I have pretty good soundproofing in here, so the cat could be outside the door and I wouldn't hear it. My house, unfortunately, is a little bit full of small beings at the moment, so a dog is unfortunately not an easy addition at this time. Well, thank you, everybody. We've had some lovely requests. Thanks for hopping on with me on this beautiful summer Monday. I'm here every Monday around noon on Pacific time. If you want to catch more of the work that I do, you can tap my link, go through to my profile. There are many different avenues for you to explore. And outside of that, I will see you next Monday. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.